Everyone, welcome to the CSE Go Public Bootcamp. This is the first of its kind ever. We've done Go Public seminars before, but this is the first bootcamp. So we'll get into why we call it a bootcamp in a minute. I'm James Black. I am VP of Listings Development at the CSE. I am based here in Vancouver. And I'd like to welcome some of my colleagues that came all the way from Toronto to come join us today. Barrington Miller, who's just by the door.
Hello.
Yep. Rob Cook, Senior VP Market Development, and also joined by Anna Sarin, who is our local listings manager. So when you get a chance, make sure you say hi to them and ask them for their phone numbers because they're great people to talk to. I'd like to begin every presentation with a really simple slide. This is like the only thing I remember from university was how to create these perceptual maps. So what I do is I like to put CSE where it belongs. We're the model for early stage companies. We have a low cost model. When you look at the other players in the environment, like the TMX group or even NASDAQ or Equitas Neo, they play in a bit of a different space. They treat that going public as this premium experience, whereas we still treat our customers with a lot of grace and we want to make sure that they have a great experience here, but we also think that value is important. So again, I'll touch on that in a bit more detail in this brief presentation on CSE. But the other question we have to ask ourselves is, everyone in this room, why the heck would I even go public? It costs a lot of money. It introduces a lot of requirements, liability. You got to build a team to deal with it while still growing your business. You got to feed the market. Volatility can occur, especially in early small cap securities. You're going to be subject to market highs and lows. Like it's not all rainbows and sunshine, right? But the big reason that companies still access markets, it provides some very useful tools. You can raise money. There's a lot of capital out there. There's a lot of capital waiting for you to be public because it wants that transparency. It wants to have that company that it invests in that has an obligation to report on a regular, standardized way. So that's one of the main reasons. That's why we see a lot of companies come public on the CSE. Stock as a currency, we'll talk about that. Having a publicly valued stock price. It really helps when you set option pricing or when you're trying to acquire other assets. It's a critical tool. And then market valuation. Obviously, if you do things right, value goes up. And the traditional thinking, and I think this is proven out over time, public value is much better than private value. So if you're going for an M&A target or exit, perhaps being public is actually your way there. So in the most fruitful way. So today's event, really important to emphasize, team is everything. Team is important when you're constructing a company, when you're going public, when you're going to go and build your team of advisors to go public. You need to have the right people around you. So the benefit of today is that everyone gets to benefit from the expertise of a series of people who know how to go public, take companies public, and tell you what to do when you go public. So with that in mind, I'd welcome up James Monroe, Quinn Martin, and Simon Thomas to join me on the side here because they're going to be part of our Q&A panel after the first couple speeches. So folks, you're welcome to come now and take a seat. And I meant that. And I should note that there is an agenda today, so we're going to have 3 presentations after my own, and then we're going to have a break, we're going to have coffees, and then we're going to do another session with 4 more speakers. So you're going to get the full meal deal here today with what's up. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I should tell you why CSE hosted this event and why we're an exchange and what we feel like we do differently. And ultimately it comes down to our mission. We want to facilitate the lowest cost of public capital in Canada. We want to be the exchange that you can come on and have the most efficient experience, the lowest cost experience, but still extract all the same value you get from being public. So that's, again, where we exist. We do that in 5 pretty simple ways. The first one is the straightforward requirements that we have set out. Anyone who's dealt with us, and I know we have some former clients and existing clients in the room, our policy manual is no more than 65 pages, I believe. And that manual is simplified. It's meant to defer a lot of the decision making to existing securities regulation that we already have. So we don't need to re-regulate a lot of the policies that we already have as national policies or corporate law. We are a connected exchange. Asked me 3 or 4 years ago, can I put all these logos up of all these access points? No, I couldn't. One thing we've done as a newer entrant is we've connected all the bodies that really need to be part of that connected environment. So that's everything from the online brokers to the full service dealers. They're all connected now to the CSE. And again, quotes is a big one. People need information. A lot of people go to our website for stock information, but a lot of people portfolio track on Yahoo or Google, and those access points are also connected. So that's an important part of offering transparency to your investors if you're going to go public. All these connection points need to be there. Enhanced disclosure is another advantage, and Mark's going to talk a bit about that later on, but and I should welcome Mark as well because he flew out here from Toronto, and I didn't mention him in my comments, but he's our VP of Listings and Regulation. What we've done is offered companies a monthly touch point to their investors through our enhanced disclosure profile. It's a monthly report, post to our website, and it provides basically an MD&A light report to shareholders or potential shareholders. Our feedback, especially since we relaunched our site in April, is that this is one of the most accessed and important pieces of disclosure we offer the online user. Streamlined regulation, again, it's about having a touch point where it's important and leaving everything else to voluntary disclosure on our website. So a lot of things like private placements, great example. A company will raise a round of funding. That'll be disclosed on our webpage. Often we don't have to interact with that transaction. We don't have to pass muster on it. So what that allows a lot of companies to do is just have it done faster, have it done more efficiently. And that's where we feel a lot of advantage carries over, especially on costs. Because as you all know, going public can be a costly endeavor. It's certainly something you have to budget for. But at least on the CSE, we've provided a fixed fee schedule, something where you can understand on 2 or 3 lines exactly what you're going to pay the marketplace, and everything else takes care of itself. When I talk about private placements, that's covered within your fee. So you raise $1 million, it's part of your $500 a month. You raise $2 million, still the same fee. So we don't nickel and dime you. We don't charge you a percentage of the funding that you raise on our marketplace. And again, we hear from our community, that's a critical takeaway from our model. So just to reiterate, I mean, again, we try to provide this value-oriented exchange service at a premium. Something that we really want to offer our listed issuers is an experience where they give us a little more information maybe on a monthly basis, but we save them so much more time on the ongoing disclosure and through the streamlined touch points that they can focus on their business. A lot of people who run these teams, and I think this applies to a lot of people here, you're not 30, 40, 50 people deep. You're maybe 5 or 6 people deep running a company. You have an obligation to grow your product and service. Going public is still a huge undertaking, but it shouldn't dominate your life either. So that's where we hope we've added value to you as a community. And to that end, I always like to throw the hockey stick up. This is our recent trading growth. We had a record month last month. So we're pretty happy about the activity that's happening on the exchange, both from an aftermarket standpoint, but also from a funding standpoint. So Barrington can verify later, but we are on pace now we've already overstepped where we were for funds raised by issuers on the marketplace this year over last year. So I think we surpassed 200 million at the end of September raised on the marketplace. So real business is being done on the CSE and real funds are being raised in our listed issues. I should note tomorrow we do have an event called CSE Day. You're welcome to join us, everyone in the room. 1:30 to 4. This is a pitch-oriented session, so we'll have a bunch of our companies come out, talk for about 2 minutes apiece, tell you why you should maybe pull up their stock on the CSE website. And I believe that's being hosted where, Anna?
At the Fairmont Waterfront.
Fairmont Waterfront, just down the road. And if you get a chance on the way out, pick up our magazine. I love to share that. Lots of great stories about listed companies on the CSE. Perhaps one of these days when you join us, you'll be in the magazine. And that's me in a nutshell and us in a nutshell.